next guest is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. He racked up 87 touchdowns. 87 touchdowns, Andre Reed, is crazy. Not to mention the 13,000 receiving yards in your illustrious 16-year career. Where have you been? Well, I haven't talked to you in forever.
Where have you been?
Where have you been?
I've been right here. I'm duded out today. I got my boy here. He's got the hat on. I want everybody to see this.
Ooh! Talk me through
9-2. They are 9-2 since I played there, and this team is on a roll right now. So I gotta give them their flowers. I gotta show out.
Let's give them their flowers. They hand the Chiefs their first loss. That probably meant a lot to mess up that beautiful streak they had going. Josh Allen was incredible. McDermott, aggressive. Which part of this win was most impressive to Andre Reed?
Both of them, man. I think anytime you coach against Andy Reid, you got to be like on point. Everything that you do, the game plan, everything's got to be. Joe Brady did a great job. Everything's got to be right when you're coaching against Andy Reid. Hall of Fame, will be a Hall of Fame coach. And that last play, with that one play that Josh ran it in, for a touchdown, I called it to myself. I said, yep, he's going to drop back and just run. And he did. I think Sean McDermott just gave him the reins and said, dude, if you see an opening, just go. And Josh has been doing that his whole career. And guess what? You better bring some heat to knock him, to get him down on the ground too. So I wish I would have been there, but it was awesome watching on TV. This team, 6 wins in a row. The things that they're doing right now in defense, they got a no-name defense. The defensive line played well last night. They got guys in the secondary that you really never heard of. Terrell Benford, all these guys have been doing great. Hamlin, Taylor Rapp. One thing they're doing, Kay, is they're playing together, and that's equaling results for them on defense. And then you throw in on offense, you got James Cook, who had 2 TDs last night. Even though they didn't have Keon, and the guys were making plays. Curtis Samuel had a touchdown. They're making plays all over the field. So that's the attitude they need, especially in November. Going into going in that playoff run kind of thing. Marv always said, win your games in November. Because December, the next 6 games, they got some tough ones, the next 3. They got the Lions, they got the Rams here in LA, and they have who's the other team they have? The Lions, the Rams, and the 49ers.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
I got the 49ers coming in. I'm actually going to be at that game in 2 weeks in 49ers. So, and then I'm not really worried about those games. It's the last 3 that I'm worried about. They got the Patriots twice and the Jets. Nothing against them, but those 3 games, they just can't slip on those 3 games. And they can't slip on the next 3 because these are going to be tough ones coming up.
I hear you saying they're playing as a team. I hear you saying, they've got no-name guys coming together, making big plays.
Yeah.
And then you said, when you were looking at that highlight, that incredible, when the Bills are up 2, what he did with that touchdown, you're saying he's done that his whole career.
His whole career he's been doing that.
Sure, but don't you think, I need to hear something, or maybe I don't. Is there something that we're seeing that's different this year, that we think that it'll end differently for this Bills team? Is there something that's unique or standing out that gives you the faith that this is the year?
I just think, Kay, that they've given him the reins to drive this bus since he came to the Bills in 2017 or 18. And again, a great quarterback has to have the components around him for things to work. And they've been wanting Josh to do everything. He's got to do everything. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. I think the supporting cast they have, to me, this year, because nobody picked them. They're not supposed to be winning the division. They're not supposed to be 9-2. They had the Jets and they had the Jets and the Dolphins fighting for the division. Where are the Jets and the Dolphins at right now? So nobody thought the Bills would even be in this. They had them last, actually, to a certain point. Some of the writers and people had them last. So I think that was a victory for them to a certain point. But again, it's these guys that are playing out of their minds right now and believing in what's happening on the field, believing in what the coaches are implementing every single week, and then letting Josh be Josh. Because again, when I saw that play, I was like, he ain't passing this ball. He's going to run this. And that's what he did. And then he ran over one guy. So that's really what the essence of this football team is about. It starts with number 17, and everybody else is in the boat with them. And just, everybody got their oars, and they're just rowing. So,
How much credit now? Don't give it all to the quarterback. You got to give some love to the receiver, Andre Reed.
Yeah.
So we bring in Amari Cooper.
For sure.
In your eyes, really break down how big of a deal is he?
It's a big deal. I mean, he hasn't really gotten his feet are just wet right now.
Okay.
I think he's got to lay in the pool a little bit longer to get some more confidence as far as the play calling and whatever he's got to do. Amari's a great receiver. I mean, he's been a great receiver his whole career. So I think as these weeks go on, especially these next three weeks, we're going to need him more. And again, we cannot abandon the running game. James Cook and you have Ray Davis, and you got guys coming in that can spell him and spell each other. November is such a big, like I said, November is such a big month, and we're going to need him, especially when the weather gets bad. The running game becomes even more important.
He had 2 catches for 55 yards. We just had Robert Mays from The Athletic talk about the big playmaking ability that the Bills have that the Chiefs don't. All of this leading me to think it can be different this second go-around. And Josh just looks incredibly confident. He looks incredibly
comfortable.
In charge,
super comfortable.
like you're saying. Is he the MVP?
Yeah.
If you look at the odds here, let's look at the MVP. Now, Josh Allen, for the first time this year, Andre, he finally makes the leap. He's the favorite, plus 125. Yeah. Should he take it home?
I think he should definitely. Of course, I'm biased, but these next 3 games, he got to play Jared Goff. He's got to play Stafford, and he's got to play Purdy to a certain point. So I think he needed to win this game against Mahomes to get that to that 125 plus 125. So right now he is the front runner. We'll see how it goes the next 3 games or 6 games, but inevitably it's really not up to Josh to a certain point. It's up to the voters. I think Josh is all about winning games and getting his team in a position to be the number 1 seed. They're still in it to get the number 1 seed there, to get everybody to come to Buffalo. And wouldn't it be great to have the Chiefs come back to Buffalo for the AFC Championship game like it did like last year? Yeah.
It'd be great, but then what's the point? You're just either one of those teams is going to lose to the Lions. Andre.
I don't know. You know what? The Lions put 52 up the other
52.
They put 52 up. I mean, I remember we put 52 up against the Steelers back in 92 or 93 or something like that. And Pittsburgh was a great team. You got Pittsburgh and Baltimore, who are really still good teams.
Yeah.
They got to play each other. And that's like a gladiator fight when them two play each other. So they're playing good football. I think the Lions are probably playing the best football as a team right now. The Bills are like 1A. And then you got Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Don't sleep on the Chargers. The Chargers look pretty good too. So they can sneak in there. So at this time of year, it's so important for these teams to not only be sound offensively and defensively and special teams, but it's such a long season. And, injuries become a factor at this time of year. And it's up to these guys to step in and to kind of not lose a beat. But really proud of this team, the Bills. And again, I'm going to give them their flowers. Give Joe Brady his flowers.
Yeah.
Give Sean McDermott his flowers. They deserve that win yesterday.
When you had that beatdown against the Steelers that you literally had on the tip of your tongue the second you knew the score, you probably know what it felt like to do that years ago. Put that into the Lions' terms. What a beatdown like that. Over at the Jags, you might say they're a team, whatever you want to say. That's huge. That's huge. They're sound both ways. You say they're playing the best football. What does that do to a team? What is that doing to the Lions right now?
Let me tell you, that locker room is, I tell you, probably of any locker room in the league this year, if you walk into the Lions locker room, is it the same as other locker rooms? No, because of that head coach.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell has not only changed the direction of that team and that franchise, but they got them believing that they can score 52, regardless of who it is.
Yes.
Jared Goff is playing great football. Gibbs. They got a good receiving core. Their defense is good. So anytime if you walk in that locker room and walk in there in Detroit, there's a different attitude in Detroit that has never been there before since maybe Barry Sanders was there. So, big shout out to Dan Campbell, what they're doing there in Detroit.
They've got the best odds to win the Super Bowl right now. Bills 4th. Bills-Lions Super Bowl would be pretty fun.
That would be a lot of fun. It'd be, blue collar teams. Blue collar Super Bowl would be, they call it the blue collar Super Bowl. That would be awesome.
All right, we're going to take a short little break here. We're going to talk through the break. It'll still be live, so don't say anything crazy. Andre Reed will be right back here on Up and Adams with a legend, Andre Reed. You heard in the break I was talking to a buddy about the question I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask you right now. Who's the best?
I got you.
Who's the best wide receiver right now?
Man, it's those two dudes are 1A, 1B, 1A, 1AA, AAA.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
Yeah. These not only phenomenal athletes, they complement what their offenses are doing. If they need a big play, they go to Jamar. They need a big play, they go to Justin. And it doesn't hurt that they played with each other there at LSU also too. Mm-hmm. So just great players, and at any time they can go 70 yards on you. You really have to watch them to break down what one does that the other one doesn't. And I think they both do everything excellent. They're good route runners. Maybe I'll give the route running a little bit of edge to Justin. He's a little more smooth coming out of breaks, but Jamar is just explosive. And if he has any kind of space, he's taking it the distance. So that's a tough one to.
You can't listen. I just realized your trick here is that you say 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
No, Andre, no.
Okay. I know. I heard him say that. He's like, I think he's got to pick one of them.
No, I want you to pick one of them. If you had to,
okay, I'm giving a slight edge to Justin, just a little bit of edge.
And what's the reason?
I just think he's better with the ball in his hands. To a little bit better the ball in his hands than Jamar. Jamar is a little more long ball guy to me than Justin. Justin's more intermediate. You don't see him really catching that many long balls. It's always that 10 to 15 yard ball, and then he just makes people miss.
I feel like so there's this, I love them both. It's hard to pick. Like, thank you for doing that, even though there's not a real answer to it.
Okay.
But they're like frenemies or something. They played together.
Frenemies, yeah.
They're not. Jamar copped to the fact that they don't even speak during the season. They both sort of take jabs at each other.
I don't know. I don't know if I can believe that.
What do you mean?
I don't know if I can believe that. They don't speak during the season. I believe they call each other.
Yeah, maybe it's like a joke. But did you have a player like that where it was like people you couldn't tell if you were friends or not, or you kept tabs on them all season long? Who was that person for you?
You know what? One guy who I think should be in the Hall of Fame that I always looked at his stats every game, and I wanted to see what he was doing.
Who?
And we ended up. Hold up. Let me set it up. Set it up for you. We ended up playing each other. And it was a game of ages, really. I had 15 catches for like 191 and 2 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. So Sterling Sharpe.
Sterling Sharpe should be in the Hall of Fame. That was
big shout out to Sterling.
Big shout out to Sterling. We love that here on the program. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple of more questions. I think we have a couple more minutes. Aaron Rodgers. They're nowhere near that Super Bowl list. They're nowhere near Coach of the Year. They're nowhere near MVP. Should he come back next year?
Whether he should or not, I just don't think Aaron's going to go out like that. That's just not his persona. Mm-hmm. He's not going to go out like that. Whether or not the Jets are going to talk to him in the offseason about whatever it is, Aaron Rodgers has always been the kind of player where he tries to do things, or if he does do things on his own record, which means I'm going to dictate what I'm going to do. And he's done that. In Green Bay, he did it. He's doing it in the Jets, with the Jets. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. I mean,
can they make it work?
I think they can make it work. I think they could. I mean, I really didn't think Aaron was going to come back this year because of that Achilles thing. I was really surprised that he came back from that Achilles.
So you weren't, as a Bills legend, you weren't this person who in August was like, man, now we're going to have to deal with Aaron Rodgers twice a year. You weren't in on it?
Not really.
Why?
I was like 50-50. Why? I mean, we'd be here all day, all the whys of that. So I just didn't think that he was going to make that much of a difference there in New York. To be that guy that changes the Jets around. And even though Robert Saleh was fired, I really don't think that was the right move for the Jets to do. I think they should have kept Robert Saleh.
Why? I mean, their defense is not better. Their defense is much worse.
Well, I mean, Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded guy, right? So I think that was up to the coordinator, whoever the defensive coordinator was. Sometimes the head coach got to delegate some of that stuff. That you got to take care of that. If I have to interject, I will. I don't think Robert Saleh was the problem. The Jets have always had a pretty good defense the last couple of years, to a certain point. And
it's hard because it's not Aaron who could come. That's the question now for Jets fans. Like,
that's exactly.
If not Aaron, who could come in there and change, that has that sort of ability to change the culture?
Every year there's quarterbacks that are out there. As soon as the season's over, there's a lot of there's 5 or 6 quarterbacks that some team could get that they're looking to be that guy that changed the narrative, their offense, and changes the narrative of the team. Not too many teams have a Josh Allen or a Herbert or Burrow. They don't have that kind of guy. Look at the Steelers. They got Russell and they had Justin Fields.
But the culture there has been perennially strong from the beginning of time. It's a great point. I want to make sure we get to, the Bills have a great culture. They might go all the way and win it this time, coming high off a win over the Chiefs. You are congratulations. You've executive produced a Bills docuseries with Chad Michael Murray and Addison Henderson. It's called Just One Before I Die. It's Bills Mafia, the loyalty. What's been the best process of this?
I'm so excited about this. When they came to me about this, I said, definitely. And I know Chad. Chad's from Buffalo. Chad's a great guy. To have him on board, and Addison and Kevin, and you just saw that picture. Everybody was there this week for the game.
See it again.
They've been doing this for now a month and a half, and I was up there a couple weeks ago. And got to hang out with Kevin and Addison and find out what's going on. But to be an executive producer of this documentary called One Before I Die. It's all about giving flowers to this fan base that is really worldwide, I think. They deserve it. And this team deserves it. That city deserves it. And for me to be a part of it, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see it. It's called Just One Before I Die, and you're part of it. Executive producer, adding that to your list of accolades. We love it. Andre, appreciate your insights so much. Have a great day. Thank you, guys.